This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell and Missy Kohler. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Call 727-9900 today for your free consultation. If you need a lawyer, you need Nelson. This segment of the news is brought to you by Silver State Health, bringing quality medical and psychiatric care to Pahrump. Call 775-505-1214 for an appointment.
Thanks for joining us here on KPVM-TV and Ace Country Radio's News 25. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
I'm Missy Kohler, and today is November 5th.
Well, an adult male is in custody and was transported to the Nye County Sheriff's Office Detention Center after a shooting that occurred in a residential neighborhood on Mount Charleston Boulevard today. One person has been flown via Mercy Air to a Las Vegas trauma center following a shooting that occurred this afternoon on Mount Charleston Boulevard. According to the Nye County Sheriff's Office, the victim in this case was found lying in the roadway and is listed in grave condition. The traffic is blocked in both directions by the Nye County Sheriff's Office auxiliary units between Ticonderoga and Red Butte. The investigation is being conducted by Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies and investigators. One individual has been taken into custody at this time. No other details are known.
Authorities are investigating a pedestrian versus vehicle accident that sent one man to the hospital last night.
Medics from Pahrump Valley Farm Rescue and Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies were dispatched for a vehicle versus pedestrian last night on Pahrump Valley Boulevard and Gamebird Road. Witnesses say that they heard a vehicle stop and someone scream that they had struck someone on the roadway. The pedestrian received injuries as a result of this accident, was transported to Desert View Hospital by ground ambulance. No one inside the vehicle claimed any injury at the time of the crash. Deputies are investigating the cause of this accident. And a teenager was arrested today after stealing his mother's SUV and leading deputies on a high-speed pursuit. One 15-year-old juvenile was transported via Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue ambulance to Desert View Hospital this afternoon following a police pursuit. News 25 learned from the mother, who arrived on scene shortly after the crash, that her son had stolen her vehicle after he was placed on an ankle monitoring system from juvenile probation here in Nye County. The Nye County Sheriff's Office says that this juvenile is a robbery suspect from last week who was released on the ankle monitoring bracelet. Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies tell us that they caught up with the vehicle at Calvada and Blagg Road, which is where the pursuit began, when they witnessed that the vehicle was driving erratically. Several witnesses told News 25 that the vehicle went on and off the roadway, almost striking several other drivers on the roadway. Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies and Nevada Highway Patrol took up pursuit, which traveled throughout the town of Pahrump and through Comstock Park. The vehicle eventually went through a fence and struck a telephone pole and some phone boxes inside the RV park. There was also another large piece of wood that had speared through the front of the SUV. Valley Electric arrived on scene along with AT&T to do the repairs on the utilities in the area. It's unclear if there was any power outages because of this accident. The juvenile was also taken into custody on scene and will be transported to juvenile probation after he is released from the hospital.
Well, it's still early to have a final count. It looks like the 2020 presidential election will go into the books with the highest voter turnout ever. More than 100 million early votes were cast by mail or in person. That is more than 2/3 of the total number of votes cast in 2016. According to Silver State Elections website, although still unofficial, 67.19% of registered Nevadans voted in 2020. That number equals 1,224,236. 129,107 of that number voted on Election Day. Early voting numbers are impressive at 540,655, or 44.16%. Absentee ballots number 412,115, and mail-in ballots made up 11.63% of the total vote count. Results do remain unofficial until certified by each county clerk. For more information on voter numbers and for a breakdown of county numbers, visit silverstateelections.nv.gov. We'll be back with more News 25 after the break.
You're watching News 25, the most recognized and farthest-reaching local news in Nye County. News 25, local news you can count on.
Welcome back. Well, tech stocks win big the day after the election, and Florida workers are getting a pay raise, and the labor market came up short.
Topping our news, tech stocks came up the biggest winners the day after the election. Shares of Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google, and Microsoft all rallied on Wednesday. Analysts on Wall Street says tech took off because those companies offer the most consistent returns, along with a safe place to park money in uncertain times. Voters in Florida approved giving workers a pay raise. 60% of voters said yes to the Amendment 2, raising the state's minimum wage from $8.56 per hour to $10 starting in September of next year and $15 per year by 2026. Checking the economy, the latest read on the labor market came up short. According to ADP, companies added 365,000 positions in October. That was below the expectation of 600,000 jobs.
To find out where you can see us every day, go to businessfirstam.com.
For the week ending October 17th, initial claims for unemployment insurance totaled 8,734, down 230 claims, or 2.6% compared to last week's total of 8,964 claims. That's according to finalized data from the Nevada Department of Employment, Training and Rehabilitation. Through the week ending October 17th, there have been 728,045 initial claims filed in 2020, 706,393 of which have been filed since the week ending March 14th.
Well, when law enforcement or the fire department respond to a call that involves children, they are usually upset. One way to help ease their stress is to give them something soft and cuddly.
Almost every call we go on has children. And sometimes the children are really upset and very young. And giving them a toy, something that's soft and cuddly, calms them right down. And we've been doing this for a lot of years. And we've gotten Tommies many years beforehand. I was giving them out years ago. If we have someone that's lost, it calms them down. It helps them to hold something and cuddle it. And you can get a lot more out of them when they're just a little bit happier instead of just crying their eyes out.
The Pahrump Moose Lodge has presented Nye County Sheriff's Office and Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue with stuffed animals for many years. Their hope is to lessen the fear often associated with visits from first responders. 48 Tommy and Susie Moose stuffed animals were presented to Sheriff Worley for distribution when needed and will be stored in the deputies' patrol cars for use. Moose Lodge Governor Al Cook explained why the Moose Lodge likes to supply the stuffed animals to the Sheriff's Office and Fire Department.
To help out in the community, we get credit for community service, and it helps out with all the children that hopefully we don't have to use them all, but when we do, they come in handy.
Well, we were happy to be able to visit with Dr. Q of Star Nursery and pick his brain about fall planting. The climate in Nye County differs a bit from that in Las Vegas. Dr. Q explained and told us about many things we can plant at this time of the year.
You do get a little bit colder, and you don't possibly get quite as hot as we do, but pretty darn close. So, and also the wind out here is really bad, both in the severely cold weather and the severely hot weather, because the wind itself with those extreme temperatures can do damage to plants as well. But any drought-tolerant, desert-adaptive plants, like a lot of the Texas Ranger varieties, Texas sage, cassias to some extent, a lot of the agaves and yuccas are very good to plant here as well. You can plant things like the red Mexican bird of paradise are very good. Take a lot of heat and cold because they do go dormant in the winter. There's things like Raphiolepis varieties, the Indian hawthorns, also some of the things like garas that are perennial type colorful plants, things like that will take both the cold and the heat in most cases here. Ground covers, you can use things like the Australian racer, things like dahlia, the indigo bush, The low-growing ones like I think it's called black indigo, Dahlia Negra, Sierra Negra is good. And right now we're bringing in a lot of the cooler weather plants. So when you go into the store now, you'll see a lot of the cool weather annuals and perennials that do well in the cooler season. Things like the ornamental kale. It's like the cabbage and kale, but it turns the real pretty purples and whites. So those do very well in the cool weather. Also things like pansies, primroses, cyclamen. They take the colder weather as well. Even garden plants. There's a lot of things you can plant that will take the cooler weather. For gardening right now, a lot of the leafy plants like cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and as well as some of the root crops like turnips, beets, carrots, things like that do well in the cooler weather. You can go to our website, starnursery.com. We've got plenty of free information on warm season and cool season ornamentals, bedding plants, colorful things.
Okay, now I want to hang out in my yard and plant some more.
I know, me too. We'll be back with more News 25 in just a minute.
You're watching News 25, brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500. News 25, local news you can count on.
Well, November is Epilepsy Awareness Month. Epilepsy affects the central nervous system and causes seizures. And while people with epilepsy are no more at risk for COVID-19 than the rest of us, doctors say that they still need to be careful, wear a mask, and practice social distancing.
Basically, it's avoiding high concentrations of people and avoiding indoor settings where you're breathing the same air over and over again for a prolonged period.
Dr. Stephen Hantis is a neurologist for the Cleveland Clinic. He says it's especially important to take COVID-19 precautions if you have epilepsy and comorbidities. For example, if you're a smoker, have hypertension, or obesity. He says what's interesting about COVID-19 is that it can actually induce seizures in those who don't have epilepsy. Why that happens, though, is still unclear.
We're not exactly sure how COVID causes seizures. It gets in there, we think, into the nervous system by either causing a breakdown of the blood-brain barrier by producing too many cytokines, which then causes some inflammatory changes which affects the brain.
Dr. Hantis says it's also important to make sure you're not skipping doctor's appointments due to the pandemic. He says some people might be scared they'll contract COVID-19, but most medical offices have safety measures in place to help prevent that.
It's Thursday, time for another great Computer Deals quick tutorial. Today, Josh Osborne explains how a solid-state hard drive can help keep speed up your computing.
Hi, it's Josh with Pahrumph's own Great Computer Deals. Let's get right into it. It's time for another quick tutorial. Technology is always coming out with a claim to make your computer faster, but sadly, most of these innovations leave us totally disappointed. That trend has changed. Here's why you need a solid-state hard drive now. Part 1. Solid states have no moving parts, so they don't require any time to spin up to speed to allow you to access your information and data. Every command is instant with no need for any part movement. Great Computer Deals is here to help you upgrade your computer or provide a new one that will help you benefit from this awesome solid-state technology for way less than you think. Why trust a technician when you can trust a friend? Great Computer Deals is located at 1190 East Highway 372. Call us at 775-990-8833.
News 25 WeatherCam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
Hi, it's John Kohler from KPVM Channel 25 News. We're on location outside the studio here. We got a lot of cloud cover in Pahrump. I thought I'd put on my own personal cloud cover to celebrate that fact. Man, there's some exciting, spicy weather coming up this weekend. We're getting a temperature drop. We're getting a whole bunch of wind. Saturday and Sunday, we're going to have rain out here in the desert. Won't that be fun? We'll tell you about all the weather news when we return.
News 25 weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Good evening, Nevada. It's John Kohler from the KPVM Channel 25 Weather Studios, and this is your weather report. Still election week. Yuck. Man, oh man. Fernley, 74 degrees, your high today. 41 is as low as it's going to get, so don't worry. 41, perfect. Fallon, up to 75 today, 36 overnight. Carson City, you're up to double digits, 77 on the high, and double digits on the low, 44. Look at you go. Tonopah, you're looking at 72 and 41 for a low tonight. In Goldfield, it will reach a balmy 73 degrees, 41 for a balmy low this morning. Later, Beatty, you're looking at about 83 degrees as we head south. It heats up. Not too bad. 52 degrees for a low end tonight. In beautiful Amargosa, 87 degrees, 54 for a low. Las Vegas, you are heating up just a little bit. 87 degrees for high today, 61 for a low. You probably want to find a hotel with a heated pool all the same. Out in Death Valley, it's all the way up to 95 degrees. Nice. 67 for a low tonight. And here in the paradise of Pahrump, 79 degrees is our current temperature. We got all the way up to 86. Felt pretty good. West-southwesterly winds to 5 miles per hour, 13% humidity. Yeah, it's getting a little humid. You're seeing some clouds coming. You're going to see a few more. Sunrise this morning at 6:11 a.m. Sets this evening at 4:43 p.m. And it'll get as chilled as 62 degrees out on your back deck with the east-southeasterly winds to 11 miles per hour. You notice those kicking up a little bit? And look at that graphic. Wow, it says cloudy. It is cloudy. Look at this. Humidity 19%. Let's take a look as we go on into the week. All right, so tomorrow it's going to get windy, like windy and cloudy. Still, the temperature not too bad, 82 degrees for a high. Then it's going to drop about 30 degrees over the weekend. We're just talking about rain on Sunday. But look, we got rain for Saturday and Sunday. Lots of cloud cover, lots of wind. Be a good weekend for making chili and watching the football games. Wouldn't you think? Lows coming down to the 30s as we head into the week. But the highs will return to the high 50s and 60s. And, gradual kind of warming up just a little bit. Give us a little break. But the rain, that's the part that's going to be fun. When was the last time it rained here? I think we got here, we hit town about June. I haven't seen rain. I haven't seen rain yet, so this will be a special weekend for me. Hope it's a special weekend for you, too. Look forward to it, and back to the desk with Missy and Deanna.
All right, so you know how we're always talking about daylight savings time and how to set your clocks. Definitely put something on your plants Saturday night.
Definitely.
Because I can't believe it goes from 82 on Friday to 54 on Saturday, but you're going to have the freezing temperatures over Saturday into Sunday, and it's going to continue a little bit the rest of the week. So you got to take care of those plants. You got to make sure your animals are brought inside, not your horses, not your pigs, but definitely, those domesticated animals.
You can't bring the horses in?
Well, you can if you want to, I guess. But yeah, there's definitely hard freeze going on next week, starting on that Sunday morning. So take care of that. And we're possibility of rain.
Well, we'll wait and see, huh?
Sand, snow maybe up in the northern part of Nye County. Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of News 25. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
I'm Missy Kohler. Thank you for watching. Have a great night.
Good night.